Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the Tarahumara tribe, or better known as the Raramuri, the best long distance runners in the world. Their name Raramuri translates to swiftly on feet. And today we're going to look at some of their values, beliefs, traditions, as well as some of their accomplishments, their experiences, and their communication styles. Very few cultures have lasted into the present and kept their traditions and culture alive like the Raramuri. They've held on to their traditions so well, and they're so secluded that nobody really knows too much about them except that they know how to run. So with that said, let's get to know them a little better. Um, Up until recent decades, with modernization, they've been able to maintain their indigenous way of life unhindered. There's a total of around 50,000 um, Raramaris that live in the Tarahumara region, which is one of the biggest uh, indigenous populations in North America. Most of the Raramuri have a mix of Christianity with their own pagan beliefs. They mix our Father and our Mother, which is their main two divinities, the sun and the moon, respectively. Jesus becomes our Father, and the Virgin Mary becomes our Mother. And the rest of it is mainly Christianity with some few odds and ends. Um, they value equality, mutuality, reverence, respect, and overall just community support over everything else. They're very community oriented and they help out each other in every way possible. Many groups of them still live in the small hamlets or rancheros that consist of just a few homes, like you see here. That's kind of what they look like. Each community is usually spread out by miles or on the top of a mountain, bottom of a mountain, across a valley. So it takes a long time to get there, to get to the next town, which is why they're developed to be such great endurance and long distance runners. Something that's a bit, I found a bit wonky was their marriage customs. They get married at relatively long age, or young age, and instead of dating in the normal courtship, they get married and they have a trial period where they live together for a year to deem if they're suitable for each other or not. If not, they get married again. Most people do this several times before they finally find a suitable partner, and this is normal for the area. Um, and another odd tradition of theirs that's still practiced in some communities is I couldn't find too much information on it, so I'm sorry if I'm a little vague. But the Raramuri women, when they're pregnant and about to give birth, they will go up into the mountains away from the village and birth their child alone. Yeah, I thought you'd like to like that little snippet. Um, and a quick side note: the sandals they're wearing on their feet, that is their main means of sandals. It's kind of like an old school Roman sandal, where, and that's what science says why they are such good runners. They don't have the our type of running shoes, which completely destroys on how your muscles are built in your foot. Um, so, um, Continuing with that, running is ingrained deep within their identity, and an example of their accomplishments is the Leadville 100. It's an ultra marathon in Colorado, 100-mile endurance race. Very few people finish it that enter it. And in 1993 and 94, two runners were Raramuri. They both won. In 93, the man who won was 52 years old. In 94, the man was 25 years old. He held the record of that race for 12 years. Um, and they're experiencing a little bit of push and pull from mining companies trying to get to their mineral rich regions, and the drug cartels are pushing hard on their communities and lands because they have so much land that is secluded and hard to get to. They're forcing the residents of the villages to work for them, They're forcing the fastest children to be drug runners across the border for them since they are so close to the U.S. border. And the Mexican government's aware of this. They're trying to stop it, or at least mitigate it. They want to make it more tourist accessible by building highways and hotels so people can go visit places like the Copper Canyon and just in the Masa Grandes. Um, but with that, the Mexican government's also kind of putting the culture and the identity of the Raramuri's in jeopardy if they're totally flooded by tourists. What's going to happen to them? They're going to lose who they are. And then finally, communication. They're a very shy and secluded group. They're, like I said, they're very community oriented. They all collaborate with each other on doing everything. Each person helps each family build others' houses. They cook together. They do everything together, and I think that has to do with them living so far apart from each other. But they do have fiestas throughout the year, which is how the younger men and women interact with each other. It's highly discouraged for men and women that aren't related to interact with each other other times of the year. So these events are chances for them to meet their future spouses, and their language they've kept through generations. It's the original language, the Tarahumara language. It's got 5 different dialects for each one different area you see right there. So they're all different languages in their own respective right, but they all have the same basic Tarahumara language behind it. And in conclusion, they're Raramuri. They're very proud people, very proud of their traditions. Even though they are shy and secluded, you can definitely see it by researching them, looking at pictures of them, even. And the fact that they've been able to keep their original language intact, I think, speaks volumes for them, for their resistance to the interjection of Western culture, and their collaborative lifestyle. The way they live, they work together so well, and I think that's given them the strength to fight off modernization. And the governments allowed them to push back on all the mining companies. And I'll finish with the fact that their younger generation seems to take the social identity of being the world's best runners to heart. A lot of the Mexican Olympic team is from the Raramuri region or the Chihuahua Mountains, and I think that's kind of cool that the younger generations are keeping the tradition alive. So with that said, I would like to extend my gratitude to you for watching this presentation, and I hope you were able to take something out of it. Thank you.